Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I'm going to start with this. Eleanor Terrett had put this out yesterday. Yesterday, House passed Equal Opportunity for All Investors Act of 2023, which would allow people to be considered accredited investors if they take and pass an SEC-approved test. This will allow more investors to take part in IPOs regardless of their wealth status. They'll also be able to invest in pre-IPOs on platforms like Link2, who is one of my sponsors. Now, John Deaton was on. He was on with the Good Morning Crypto show yesterday. I was actually walking, listening to it. It says Deaton foresees Ripple IPO within a year post lawsuit with now I don't know if he said $100 billion valuation, but that might not be right. But it says Deaton noted that Ripple was on track for an IPO before the lawsuit was filed, and that if the company achieves a complete victory in the case against the SEC, an IPO could be expected within a year. So there is a little bit left. In fact, yesterday, I can't remember how much, but it was a lot more than it is now. The Ripple private equity on the Link2 platform, they had sent out an email talking about how the supply was drying up of Ripple private equity, and it is a lot more dried up than it was yesterday. I can tell you this. I won't say anything about the price. Anyway, but here's a clip from John Deaton on that show, on the Crypto Morning Show yesterday.
That the SEC, because of the theory they chose, may have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And it's because this, guys, when you start off as an altcoin, at the very beginning, Ripple had 80% of the XRP and the founders had 20.
Yep. You
got to sell it to someone or give it away. Whatever you're doing, those initial things meet the Howey test. If Satoshi Nakamoto, when he was mining, he, she, they, whatever, when he was mining Bitcoin by himself, right? If he would have said, hey, John Deaton, give me 25 grand and I'll give you 100,000 Bitcoin. And I did, and I sat back while he mined more Bitcoin and it became more, that would meet the Howey test, right? That specific transaction could meet the Howey test. And so yes, the judge could find those early sales as violating or meeting the Howey test. The problem is the SEC went with this all or nothing type of theory, right? That all sales of XRP, past, present, future, ongoing, in perpetuity, forever. The token itself is an underlying investment representation of an investment contract. So I think she's going to slam that theory down. They're going to lose that. Whether or not I believe she's going to split the baby, I can't really say, because we haven't seen a lot of specific sales, right? So for example, it's all been sealed. I can tell you, when you read the summary judgment briefs, the only thing the SEC said in the summary judgment brief was, well, in 2014, Ripple sent about a brochure about XRP to about 100 people. Now, the judge could say that was an offering, right? That even though there may not have been any sales, that was an offering. And so if there are a lot of specific sales where she could dig her feet and hands into, then yes, conventional wisdom is that she could say 2013 to 2018, you're in violation, ongoing and future. But here's the problem, guys. There is no sufficient decentralization factor in the Howey test. And that's, so when people say, they rely on the Hinman speech of sufficient decentralization, that that's not a part of the Howey test. And so if I had to pick a winner that would win everything, and I'm not picking it, but if I did, I'd pick Ripple to win because the SEC's theory is so freaking absurd. But the conventional wisdom is she'll find a way to split the baby, and we're going to see soon.
I think that sounds about right. Now, the XRP price has been surging here over the last week. It got as high as almost 53 cents, I guess, in the last 24 hours. And I wanted to show you this. This is from Dark Defender. He says $3 to $6 range for XRP was a target, and now this is how we are getting there, step-by-step third wave structure, considering weekly RSI wave trend targeting $3.39 precisely. Let's see 67 cents first, which is close. Happy birthday, XRP. Have fun. I hope he's right. Russian finance minister says BRICS nations are considering plans to incorporate digital financial assets underpinned by tangible assets. Sounds like a stable coin backed by gold or something like that. Into their financial system with gold-backed stable coins as prime examples. Gold will play a major role in the monetary reset. This has been in the works for many years. I agree with that. Then we've got this. This is from Tom Emmer. Today I introduced the Securities Clarity Act with Darren Soto. This bill clarifies the regulatory classification of digital assets and provides market certainty for innovators and clear jurisdictional boundaries for regulators. This is the smartest approach we've seen to provide clarity about how securities law applies to digital assets. We applaud Representative Emmer for his continued leadership on policy affecting cryptocurrency. And here's Perry-Ann Boring talking about this this Securities Clarity Act.
Perry-Ann Boring here from the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Today, we are excited to see the reintroduction of the Securities Clarity Act by U.S. Representative Tom Emmer. This bill would bring the much needed regulatory clarity to our industry at a time when it is truly needed. We are calling on all members of Congress to support the Securities Clarity Act to make sure people and businesses can invest, develop, innovate, and operate digital asset businesses here in the United States without the threat of enforcement constantly hanging over their heads. Support the Securities Clarity Act to ensure the United States can maintain its leadership role in the blockchain ecosystem globally.
That Perry-Ann Boring, every time I see her speaking, she seems like she is, well, in my part of the country, we call that being tight as a tick. That's what one time a guy referred to. My son was walking up to the plate to bat, and he looked a little nervous during All-Stars, and he says he looks tight as a tick. She always seems kind of like she needs to just chill out a little bit. I bet it'd be an interesting conversation to have with Perry-Ann Boring if she was just talking, shooting from the hip. That's more my style. Okay. And Jeremy Hogan says the Securities Clarity Act, also known as the XRP holder, protecting Coinbase and Binance relieving, crypto startup protecting, USA pro innovation, Hinman speech codifying, stick it to the SEC Act for short. Oh man. Now, check this out. This guy says XRP volume has been burning nonstop since yesterday. I think the G stands for 1,000 million. Or billion, but the volume is burning it up non-stop. Now, folks, we spent 2 or 3 years screaming from the rooftops about just how shady this all was, all the Ethereum stuff. And this is a guy who I think was buying it at one time, and now he's had enough. CEO of Silicon Prairie Capital Partners. ETH is bad, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. ETH is shady. Not only is ETH a security, it always has been manipulated by well-connected and powerful people behind the scenes. The connections between the Ethereum Foundation, Consensus, and SEC are totally public knowledge. Jay Clayton, the former SEC chairman, was a partner at Sullivan Cromwell. Joe Lubin, co-founder of Ethereum, also founded by Consensus. He also bought 9.5% of the ETH supply. Consensus is a client of Sullivan Cromwell. This was the backdoor ETH used to get the free pass on regulations. There are court papers about meetings between Consensus and the SEC. At the same time, the SEC was prosecuting dozens of ICOs that were using the exact same approach ETH was. Grab a big old bag of popcorn and read on. I need to go read on and see what else he says. I haven't had a chance to look at the rest of it. And then Elon Musk decides that he's going to tweet X, which I finished with RP and a retweet. And I think that's all I have for today. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. X. Thanks for listening.